Hello, Wanderers, and welcome back to the Outer Worlds.
I so enjoy watching you sleep for hours on end, Captain. It's quite entertaining the way you drool and whimper.
Okay, Ada. This trophy reads, Adelaide's deserters dreamed of an independent life without board oversight. You taught them an important lesson. Never dream. Yeesh, oh my goodness. Alright, with all our business taken care of in Terra 2, we're ready to move on to our next port.
We have received a communication request from Dr. Phineas Wells.
Good, I've been waiting to hear from him.
Aha, there you are, hale and hearty and captain of your own ship. I see you're putting the unreliable to good use. Shame about her former captain, horrible way to die. How are you feeling, by the way? I lost track of you in that cave back there. Experiencing any, unnatural drippage? Perfectly normal side effect of thawing, I assure you.
I have been feeling a little lightheaded. Oh yeah, and also, I can slow down time?
Oh, that, yes, that's probably permanent. I wouldn't worry about it, though. I'm sure you're fine. What you saw in Emerald Vale is happening all across the colony. Food shortages, lack of supplies, and basic necessities. We're dying. The chairman, the minister, and all their lackeys on the board are to blame. The Hope has some of the brightest minds Earth ever sent us. If we can revive the Hope's colonists, they can help us undo the board's mistakes. They can help us set things right. You need to get to Stellar Bay on Monarch. I have contacts there. They'll help me, help us, find the chemicals to revive your fellow colonists. Gladys Culkelly, lovely woman, runs a cozy little black marketing outfit on the Groundbreaker. She can get you a nav key to land on Stellar Bay.
Alright, slow down. You're asking me to get involved with the black market?
Gladys and I have been doing business for years. Her smuggling credentials are unimpeachable. If anyone can get you a key to Monarch, it's her.
Why do I need a nav key to land on a planet?
Strictly speaking, Monarch is a moon, terraformed badly, and almost completely lawless. You'll love it. Captains don't fly their own ships, you see. Your navigation terminal handles the, navigation. Think of a nav key as a set of flight instructions. The board's been confiscating nav keys for Stellar Bay, so we must rely on unconventional means of acquisition. Hence, Miss Gladys Culkelly.
Couldn't I just land somewhere outside of Stellar Bay?
In theory, I suppose you could land your ship in Cascadia, and in theory, I suppose you might survive the experience. Cascadia is utterly seething with dangerous, highly aggressive creatures, more than capable of tearing you limb from limb. You'd have to be a lunatic to land in Cascadia, and I'm reasonably certain I tested your brain for incipient signs of insanity. Trust me, talk to Gladys Culkelly.
Fine, I'll go have a word with Gladys.
Excellent. I'll send her a wireless. Let her know you're coming. By the way, I gave Captain Hawthorne a disguise apparatus of my own design, cutting-edge technology, years ahead of its time. I call it the holographic shroud. I'm sure it will prove remarkably useful to you. You'll find it in the captain's quarters.
Do you want to explain what a holographic shroud is?
Marvelous device. I'm quite proud of myself. The shroud changes the user's appearance to mimic that of another. It has limits. First-generation technology, you see, but promising. Exciting to see it in use at last. Very simply, the holographic shroud uses biometric information contained on standard identity cartridges to generate a holographic projection around you.
I'll put it to good use. Thanks.
Excellent. I'll contact you once you've found a way to get to Stellar Bay. If you have any questions, come see me in my lab. And remember, don't trust the board. They'll try to win you over with promises of wealth and power, but it's a lie. The board's only interested in filling their own pockets. If we don't put a stop to them, they're going to run this colony to the ground.
Transmission ended. If you are ready to depart, please select a destination on your navigation terminal.
We are ready. Let's head over to the Groundbreaker.
We've
Oh, welcome to the system map.
arrived at the Groundbreaker.
Oh, wow, look at it. It's so beautiful. Let's go over there. We're able to take 2 companions with us, so let's take the good vicar along. The Groundbreaker is an old carrier ship that operates as the system's only independent port. Hello there.
Just checking your ship's manifest. Standard procedure. Welcome to Groundbreaker, by the by. Don't mind the heat. Got a few days before it reaches critical. I'm sure Miss Chief Tennyson will get it sorted before then.
Reaching critical? Well, that doesn't sound good.
Smells like grease and unwashed bodies. Just as I remembered.
As per usual, too much information, Vicar.
That's not the point. This halfwit just knocked out one of my workers.
Yeah, with a tossball stick. I heard you the first time. There weren't any witnesses.
No witnesses. He's not even denying it.
Jackass had it coming.
Shut it, Felix. You're not making this any better.
You get cute with me again, you little back bay brat, I will toss you out an airlock.
This is the Groundbreaker, not Byzantium. You ain't the law here. I am. Now move along.
I don't have time for this. I need a trick.
Well, I'm curious to find out what that was all about.
Going for a stroll around the docking base?
I noticed you were having an argument there.
Sure was. Got a knack for upsetting the board and the Mardettes all at once. Between you and me, I was hoping they'd come to fisticuffs.
I heard you knock somebody out with a tossball stick?
The guy insulted my Rizzo's Rangers, alright? You can't just insult my Rangers and expect to get away with it. So, of course, I decked him with a tossball stick. I mean, what am I? Some kind of fair-weather fan?
Well, that's what we would say in Boston. But tell me, what did he do?
Guy never liked me, always trying to get a rise out of me. But I keep my chin up, right? Be the bigger man, I tell myself. He's a Spacer's chosen man, though. So when the Chosen beat my Rangers the other night, my foreman comes swaggering up with his head full of boasting.
And that's when you resolved your differences like adults, right?
That's when I broadsided him with a tossball stick. Yeah. Look, this was a long time coming. Guy thinks he can push me around because he's some sky-high foreman, and I'm just a back bay's dock worker. Well, former dock worker. Guess I just tendered my resignation.
You got any plans?
Enjoy my freedom. Scrounged together enough bits for a 0G. Other than that, can't say as I do. Hey, not for nothing, but I saw you wander out of that ship over there by the dock. Wouldn't happen to be yours, would it?
That's me, Captain of the Unreliable.
Captain of the Unreliable. You're like something out of a serial drama. Hey, I don't want to talk your ears off, guessing you got places to be. I appreciate your time.
I never caught your name. I'm Gabriella.
Felix Millstone. Pleased to make your acquaintance.
See you around, Felix.
See you around, boss.
Well, there's an interesting character. I really can't wait to see what this city's gonna look like.
Yeah, I've done work for Sublight. Need to pay the bill somehow.
Careful where you smoke. The crew bills us for air filtration.
Oh look, a familiar face. Phineas V. Wells, wanted for sedition, forgery, conspiracy, conspiracy to commit conspiracy, unlicensed medical practice, and destruction of board property.
I wonder what that fella did to get the board so riled at him.
Our boy has been busy, Parvati.
Customs and inspection, right this way. Identification, please.
Here you go.
Captain Hawthorne, you said. Let me apologize in advance. I'm about to ruin your day. According to your ship's record, you've been flagged by the board. Your ship will be impounded until such a time as they see fit to lift it.
But we've hardly been out of Edgewater long enough to get in trouble.
Well, isn't this wonderful? The captain's done something to get on the board's bad side. Now, hold on. This isn't the end of the world. Probably.
Okay, how do I get this resolved?
You'll want to take it up with Udom Bedford, our board representative here on Groundbreaker. His office is located along the starboard wall of the promenade. Shines like a Byzantium commode. You can't miss it.
Any idea why my ship was impounded?
Access to that information is above my pay grade, and I've turned down 3 promotions, so it stays that way. I shouldn't be mentioning it, but what the hell? This here, impounding your ship, it doesn't happen much. The board knows we don't take kindly to their interfering in our operations. If I had to take a guess as to why, you must have riled up someone important.
Great. I'll go talk to him and figure this out.
You take the starch out of him, well, you won't hear any complaints from me. Oh, and if you're headed that way, would you mind doing me a favor?
Sure.
Wanda Dorset over in sickbay, tell her the shipment's not in yet. It's not coming in anytime soon, and if she'd be so obliged to get off my ass about it.
Her shipment?
A handful of SAM cleaning units retrofitted for surgery. I don't know much else. I stopped listening when she started yelling.
Got it.
Much appreciated. Is there anything else I can help you with?
I'm looking for someone named Gladys.
The fence. You'll find her in the rest and go, on your left when you enter the promenade. Make sure you bring an empty belly.
I'm looking for a drink. Any recommendations?
Most places are on the promenade deck. Big door yonder, straight through security. There's a bar on the starboard side. I got a preference for the Lost Hope myself. Talk to Vera. She'll set you right.
Gracias.
You need anything else? You let me know. Don't want anyone saying Groundbreaker's not the most hospitable port in the colony.
Can I find a job around here?
Maybe. Most of the shipping traffic in the system passes through Groundbreaker. Every couple of months, we even get a big interstellar freighter. 2 biggest operations are the board. That is, Halcyon Holdings and Sublight Salvage. But there are independent operators around the promenade deck. Most of those jobs are going to take you off station, though.
What do you know about Sublight Salvage?
They strip the parts from derelict ships and abandoned outposts. There's some that say they make the derelicts and encourage folks to abandon their steads. Sublight gives me the creeps. I've known folks who went to work for them and just vanished. They're on the promenade run by a woman named Lilia Hagen. I'm only telling you so you know to avoid them.
I didn't think there were many independent operators in the system.
Relative to the board holdings? Not really. But there's a few with the means to go where they will. They aren't rich, but they aren't likely to look too close at your work history either.
How do Halcyon Holdings work anyways?
Are you pulling my leg?
I'm new around here.
You must be one of them long-haul freighters from outside the colony. Well, I won't hold it against you. Goes like this. Back on Earth, before the crossing, the powers that be were selling off stakes in distant star systems they thought had potential. A bunch of companies decided to throw in together and form the Halcyon Holdings Corporation, then buy up the rights to this here colony. That group's what we now call the Board.
How does Groundbreaker fit into that?
Groundbreaker was one of the original colony vessels to come over on the crossing, a few years before her sister ship, the Hope. Once everybody been de-thawed and dropped dirt side, the original crew of the Groundbreaker decided they rather liked the spacefaring life. I guess that was the start of our independent spirit. Now, here we are.
So there's actually a boardroom somewhere with the company head sitting in it.
Sitting around drinking whiskey and smoking cigars, yeah, probably. Can't say for sure, of course. Doubt I'll ever see the inside of it myself.
The board runs most of the system, don't they?
Yep. Groundbreaker's the only real independent port. Aside from us, there's just tramp freighters and wildcat miners. Seems like every year the board's offices get bigger and their ships take up more of the landing bays. Haven't seen nearly as many tramp crews this year.
I'm looking for something a little more local.
Commandant Sanita might have a couple of folks she needs killed. Bad folks, I mean. Not regular folks. She'll be at the security desk behind me. Chief Junlei might have an errand needs running. She's all tied up trying to fix our heat problem. You'll find her in engineering.
No kidding? I'd love to get a look at this old girl's innards. I bet they're real twisty and weird. In a good way.
All right. Thank you, Corporal Wheeler.
If you're thinking to make a career here, don't waste your time. Full-time jobs on Groundbreaker tend to be inherited, or go to a fellow crew member's kid. Keep it in the family, you know.
Well, that's all I needed to know about work.
All right.
If your station's in disrepair, why don't you make the board fix it?
You mean the heat? Sure, we could make them fix it. But what would they do in retaliation? They got assault cruisers, gunships, and a handful of mining operations at their fingertips. We push them too hard, maybe they decide we'd be better in 10 trillion little pieces. Or they cobble together a new Groundbreaker and put us out of business.
The board wouldn't do that. Would they?
The board is necessary to provide order to the colony. They believe it's their prerogative to overrun you. But whether you allow that is up to you.
It's a tough line to walk, no doubt about that. But we may do all right. So far, anyway.
Thanks for the
Sure
info.
thing. Be seeing you.
All right, well, that was a lot of information to take in, but let's go check out the inside of the Groundbreaker.
Try not to be distracted by the glare of the adverts. Lots of unsavory types about.
Whoa, I have to say, it is pretty impressive, though.
Move along.
This place reminds me a lot of Mass Effect 2. And I like the mix between the very corporate world that the Halcyon colony represents, as well as the independent nature of this ship.
Last I heard, the board was in dispute with the Renegade Company. Sounded dire.
They call it Monarch now. It's supposed to be a real hellhole. Warlords drumming up marauder squads, blood running in the streets, all kinds of shit.
Uh-oh, I think we need to go there. Look, it's a Spacer's Choice man. We'll come and talk to him later, but first, let's find Chief Junlei.
C&P Borstworst. It's not the worst unless it's Borstworst.
What's wrong with you lately? You seem down.
Board patrol nicked a friend of mine. Accused her of piracy.
Shit. She actually do it?
No. One of the cleanest folk I know. She found a hold-up shop.
Ew, Spratwurst. No thank you.
Go back to Byzantium, you gold-plated bastards.
Yeah, no one wants you on Groundbreaker.
These stairs are board property. Disperse now, or I'll detain you for trespassing.
Oh, real scary. You're really gonna arrest us on our station?
Yeah, this is Chief Junlei's ship. You don't own shit here.
Step back! I'm required by board bylaws to use excessive force.
The Mardettes would space you for trying, you waste of O2 scrubbers.
Yeah, O2 scrubbers.
Look, just get out of here before I tell your captain what you've been getting up to on the clock.
Ah, whatever. We got a date at the Lost Hope anyway.
Is this really what you want to be doing with your life, Marcy? Guarding stairs for that walking mustache udon fucking Bedford? I gotta get off this detail.
Reward offered for information leading to the capture of noted terrorist Phineas Wells. Report any sightings to your local ward embassy.
Well, that was a tense exchange we just witnessed.
Are those XF-411s? And an old Yakita 37? You think they'd let me peek at the power plant?
Probably. Oh, this must be Junlei.
Thought there'd be more machinery. Must be housed on a sub-level.
I could spend all day in here and not have looked at half the best stuff. It's all pretty worn, though.
Junlei Tennyson. I'm captain around here, but chief to my friends. Hope you don't mind the formal introduction. Groundbreaker doesn't see many visitors.
Gabriella. Nice place you got here, Chief.
No, it isn't. It's a mess. But it's my mess, so I'll take the compliment. Just so we understand each other, I'm the final word on the ship. The Mardets, the crew, the engineers, their family. I hope there won't be any problems while you're visiting.
I'll do whatever I can to help keep the peace.
Good. Don't go making trouble, and chances are you won't find any. That's how I like it here. So what brings you to Groundbreaker? I'm curious, even though 9 times out of 10 the answer's just passing through.
Once I get out of Impound, I'm bound for Monarch.
Interesting. The powers that be paint an ugly picture of Monarch. Critters and such. Maybe someone in the promenade can get you the right weapon for the job. We see a lot of the same faces coming and going. Most of them board spies and corporate sprats. Makes it hard to trust outsiders. You seem different, so welcome aboard.
It seems a little warm in here. What's going on?
Groundbreaker's radiators need replacement parts. They're dumping superheated air into my ship.
Why haven't you fixed them yet?
Only the board has access to new parts, and I won't let them swindle me into a corner.
Is there no room for compromise?
None. Every time I give in to the board, Groundbreaker loses its freedom. Soon there won't be anything left. I can't allow that. The board isn't helping, and my resources are spread thin. If I don't get those radiators back online, Groundbreaker, everyone on board, will be cooked alive.
You need a contractor to work this out. I'm available for a reasonable rate.
Reasonable, huh? That's the best news I've heard all day. According to my grandmother's old schematics, the parts we need should be in the back bays.
How do you know that the parts are still there?
I keep diligent records of station repairs, requisitions, and available assets, just like my grandmother taught me. The station's radiators haven't changed since her time, and her records say the parts should be there. I trust them.
But there's a catch, right?
The back bays are on a lower deck, long abandoned and a haven for miscreants now.
Have you tried sending anyone else down there?
I have. One of my engineers, plus a small security detail. They didn't come back. I can't afford to lose any Mardits on this job. No offense, but a freelancer like you is more dispensable.
None taken.
Nice and pragmatic. Thanks for understanding.
Would it be possible to talk this out with whoever's down there?
Those idiots are immune to reason, and they don't much care if the station melts to pieces. they're content to die last. If you could find some way to solve this without violence, I'd prefer that. But more than anything, we need those parts.
I'll get you those parts from the back bays.
Good. Once you've obtained the parts, we can proceed to the next phase of repairs. This whole deck smells like ass. Only gonna get worse if I don't get those radiators fixed.
Parvati, you wanted to talk to Junlei? Go ahead.
What? I didn't think you just...
Parvati, is it? That's a lovely name. What can I do for you?
I was just thinking, I haven't got much experience working with actual, real spaceships, Miss Junlei. Chief Junlei.
Junlei is fine.
No need to be so formal, Parvati.
Force of habit, I guess. Okay. Since you run a whole space station, I was wondering if... Well, maybe you could teach me some things. I could message you later, maybe?
I'd be happy to make the time, Parvati. You can ask me anything.
Parvati, don't be shy about asking for time off if you need to compare notes in person.
Right. In person. Sure thing, Captain. Wow, great. I'll do that then. Messages. Later. Oh, your name's pretty too. I should have said... Sorry. I like it. Honest. Sorry.
Nice job, Parvati.
Couldn't have done it without your moral support, Captain.
Now, if there's nothing else, there are other parts of the ship begging for my attention.
Yeah, I bet. What's it like being in command here?
Frustrating. Everything down to the circuit boards is past warranty, so I have the pleasure of making life-or-death decisions on a shoestring budget. Plus, there's no time to train my successor or document fixes in a way that anyone outside the family would understand.
This ship is a family
Sure
business.
Is. The Tennysons came over on the Groundbreaker. My grandmother, Chief Gang, kept it together during the crossing and until she died. I was promoted only recently, when my mom died. Then I took the leap from chief engineer to captain.
They must have been amazing people to have taught you all you know, I mean, which is a lot.
That means a lot coming from a fellow engineer.
Condolences, Junlei. I'm sure those were some big shoes to fill.
Appreciate it. There wasn't much that took me by surprise about the job, but the little things you never expect or think about, they add up over time. Maybe you can see why I'm protective of Groundbreaker. This ship is family. It's got tinkerings and bypasses that only Tennysons know about.
Aren't you a little young to be training a successor?
You see any bite-sized Tennyson children running around? I didn't think so. The next captain won't have my heritage. I'll have to foster that talent from somewhere. It's only a question of when.
Back to my other questions.
You've got my attention.
You don't have a lot of faith in the board.
You're right, I don't. The board is after two things, bits and power, and they only get it by sticking their nose where it doesn't belong.
How do you keep the board at a safe distance?
I placate them when I have something to offer, but I can also be a real hard-ass. It'd be a joy if I could kick out the corporate merchants and reclaim the docking fees in my lifetime. Too much of Groundbreaker's income is flowing in the wrong direction. I'd like to see that change.
Thank you, Captain. So Captain Junlei is just trying to keep her family together. Well, if you want to find out more about the Lost Hope, and also get ungrounded from this place, we better help her out. Thank you so much for joining me in another chapter of The Outer Worlds. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing for more content. Hope you're all staying safe and sane, and until the next one, friends, happy wanderings!